Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to part 2 of my Tooltip Tuesday. This is quickly becoming a travel section for me because I am revamping. Basically, I've come back from my trip to Arizona, and it was the first time that I ever had to fly with scrapbooking supplies, and I learned a whole lot. So I am coming back to you, and I have unpacked all of my items, and what you see on my desk are things that I ended up not needing. But before we get into that, I just wanted to talk about my project. So I don't know if you remember, but let me find it. I didn't really have a plan for what I was going to work on. And so I decided that I would take this little album that I had started, and I would try and finish up this little album, which was perfect. Because if you can travel with one project, one small project, that helps you to be able to just choose one paper pack to take and the corresponding things that you would need with that one simple project. So this project was a great project for me to take. I did not get a lot done, but the pages that I did complete all went into this album. So I don't regret taking this album. I think it's great. In fact, I'm traveling in 2 weeks to Indianapolis. I'm probably going to bring this project with me and try and finish it. That's what I was going to do this time, and that didn't happen. So choose your project wisely. Once you choose your project, know your project. And that gets into what I have here that I didn't use. And I threw in at the last minute a bunch of cardstock and my 12 by 12, this whole 12 by 12 white cardstock. But as you guys remember, I was working directly on the pages in this small album. I already have them all lined out, right? So I'm working directly from these pages, or I'm using designer sheets from the collection to make my pages. So I didn't need big pieces of cardstock. I was just fine with my scraps, and that's primarily what I use for that album. So I should have just stuck with scraps. I already have sorted out my colored cardstock and put that away, but I also didn't use that. So know your project. I didn't need the 12 by 12. I could have left that home. The second thing was the stamp set, right? So I did use my stamps. I used them to make the numbers that were going to go on my album. Well, these numbers in a little Ziploc baggie would have been a lot easier to carry than this entire bag. And not only that, I needed blue for one of the days, so I wasn't even able to stamp the number for the day that I needed. So I'm going to have to do that now when I'm home. So again, if I had taken the time to look at my project carefully, I could have realized that, oh, you know what? I don't need all these stamps. I don't need this bulky thing. I could have just brought my numbers. That would have been better. Okay, same thing with this. I threw this in. Again, it was bulky. It was awkward. It took up a lot of room. I didn't need it. I didn't open it. I didn't touch it. These washi tapes and things like that, I could have done that when I got home. All right, you guys know that I threw these into my bag. Again, these are bulky, and this is full of peekaboo pockets. This whole entire container has, oh no, these are, yeah, I threw in some shapes, and in the bottom of this and it's heavy, y'all. Like, it's really heavy. So I didn't need this. I could have just foregone the peekaboos, put the pages in the pockets, and put the peekaboos on when I got home. It would have saved me a lot of weight. I didn't need peekaboos. I think if I were working on a 12 by 12 album, I might just grab one package of 4 by 6 peekaboos and throw that in. That would be a lot lighter than my big, huge, heavy thing here. So I didn't need that. This one was shapes. You guys remember I had cut out all of the embellishments. I didn't use them. When I go to Indianapolis, I will probably just throw this in. This is a lot lighter than this whole thing. And what I did use was circles, and I didn't have the right circle anyway, and I ended up using a custom cutting circle to make my circle. So if I was traveling and I needed a rectangle or a circle or an oval, I could just use my custom cutting system. I didn't need these. I could have left this home. All right, I brought 3 BMCs. I ended up using the one that they asked us to bring. I never touched these 2. I think if I had had more time to work on my Christmas album, I might have used poinsettia edge. So I don't, oh, you know what? I did use poinsettia edge. I take that back. I used that on a page. So I don't regret throwing that one in, but this was my Wild Wanderer. It was just a random collection I threw in the last minute because I was worried. I didn't need to bring this one. I didn't touch my bone folder. I didn't need it. I guess I could have used my multi-purpose tool. So that could have stayed. This was an extra card set. Again, this one doesn't weigh a lot. I might still throw that in Indianapolis if I finish my small project. But I didn't touch it. But I might bring it with me to Indy. And then this is the fold-up tray kit, which I do not regret taking this, and I probably would take it to Indianapolis. We were just gifted a tray, which I ended up using, and that was just generous from Megan. So most crops you go to would not give you this. So I don't regret taking that. So I would still have taken these 2 things even though I didn't use them. Next time I'll throw that in. Okay, so that's what I didn't need to take. That would have, I mean, those were bulky items, so that would have saved me a lot of space, I think, and some weight too. What I forgot to take, y'all, I love my pop-up trash can. I sit it on my desk, and especially when I'm in crops, and I just throw all my trash into it as I'm working, and I really, really miss my pop-up, and it shrinks down. It is just really handy. So I definitely would have added my pop-up trash can. And then the other thing that I forgot that I borrowed from somebody else who had it there were my write-on stickers. And that's just because I use write-on stickers a lot. And so I would throw in a pack of write-in stickers. So I missed 2 things. I took a whole lot of extra that I didn't need. And now I'm going to take the things that I would normally use and see if they will fit in my carry-on suitcase. What I think is that I would still have to check that suitcase because it would have scissors and my cutters in it, and I'm just not sure I could get on a plane with scissors. Has anybody traveled? Do y'all know? If you know, drop it in the comments below, because I just am not sure if you can get on the plane with scissors. If you can get on the plane with scissors, I would just use my carry-on straight to the gate. So let me see if I can get all this stuff into my carry-on, and I will get right back to you. All right. Okay, everybody, I am back, and I have everything packed in this little suitcase, and I actually still have tons of room. So I definitely could have packed this much better than I did. There is a lot of room here, and I'll be honest, what I would do is roll my clothes, my pajamas and all my clothes. I would roll them, and I would fill in all of the space, all of these gaps, so that in this I would actually tuck into one of the paper packs so it wasn't loose. But that would fill this whole space up so things wouldn't slide and shift around. I have all of my instructions and sketches in here. And then these are all my awkward, I would have to secure that obviously better. But these are all of my awkward pieces. And I have this huge section here. I would put my toiletries in there, my liquids, my makeup, things like that. So I actually have a lot more room in this suitcase now that I've gone down to one project. So it definitely would have fit in here, probably with some clothes. I came home with an album that I won and a couple of the project folders with different collections and the tray table, and I came home with quite a bit of heavy stuff that I could easily have fit back into this suitcase. So I might have even just been able to travel with just this suitcase, but I probably would have thrown in my backpack so it would have my Kindle and all of my fun things. But yep, next time I will go to a carry-on suitcase and for sure a backpack, because those would just be easier to travel. So it can be done. Again, this is where I put those there because there's no weird bumps, but under here are my scraps and all of my paper packs. So because I don't have any bumps or anything like that, I would put those things on this side along with my trimmers, and then all of the awkward shaped things I would use this side that has the weird bumps for the handle. But yeah, I did not do that well. This would be better, but again, I would stick with one project. The other option would be to do what my mom SJ does, and that would be to project layout every single thing that I was going to work on, and I just didn't have time to do that. So anyway, I've now changed my whole plan. I'm going to try it out when I go to Indianapolis in a couple weeks, and we'll see if I am more successful. All right, everybody, have a great day. Bye.